Shalom. I would like to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakodash. I would like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all sincere Akim, pushing this word across the four corners of the world. And this is an article from blacknews.com. And the title says, Black women of all ages making gray hair wigs a growing trend and buying from black-owned vendors. And this was published on September the 22nd, 2022. African American women who are still in their 30s and 40s are successfully setting the trend of intentionally graying their hair. Some are dyeing their hair gray and others are wearing gray hair wigs and weaves. Either way, the culture is embracing it, and the women who are doing it are making it a point to buy direct from black-owned vendors like blackhair.com, and others in response to the industry having been Asian dominated for decades. And as you can see, who's spearheading this trend? So-called African American women, who happens to be the daughters of Zion, the Israelite women. And anything that's dealing with culture within this society, it's all systematically designed to lead our people astray from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And before I get to that point, like I stated, you're seeing so-called black women are spearheading this crazy trend, which goes back to really the curses that's mentioned in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. And first, let's get 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, and the 15th verse. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. So that's why you see the women, and more so the women of our nation, are always in tune about styling their hair. They will have different hairstyles each day. And that's a part of their glory, their prestige or honor. So going back to what I stated earlier, as it says how so-called African American women are leading this trend about dyeing their hair gray or purchasing gray wigs. They are chasing for their glory to get their hair back. And let's link that with Isaiah 3:16. Moreover, the Lord Yahweh said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, meaning proudful, very arrogant, and walk with stretched forth necks and one-ton eyes. And those one-ton eyes goes into how undisciplined they really are. Like you would see a woman with her man out in public, and here she is eyeing at you. Like no sense of showcasing shame face. Like no sense of respect or having some type of dignity or integrity. Just straight shameless women. And that's very disgraceful. And it says, walking and mixing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet. And get to the point in verse 24. And it should come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there should be stink. You already know what that is. And instead of a girdle, a rent, which goes into why the mass majority of the women of our nation have guts, especially the ones here within America. And that's due to the ways of their poor westernized diet. And instead of well-set hair, baldness, meaning lacking of hair. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. So that's the point right there. And the women of our nation, and more so the so-called black women, the southern kingdom, which consists of the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the curse of baldness upon those particular women of our nation hits them the hardest. So that's why they're chasing for that glory, always in these hair beauty stores, buying up all these weaves and wigs, because they want that long hair. All right, so back to the article. It says, either way, the culture is embracing it, and the women who are doing it are making it to a point to buy direct from black-owned vendors like blackhair.com, and others in response to the industry having been Asian dominated for decades. So why is that? Why is the black hair care industry Asian dominated? Also, why is the black hair care industry a billion-dollar industry at that? All this traces back to the biblical curses of the Israelites. That's why it stated in Romans the 8th chapter, the Spirit bearing witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. And this is one of the many reproaches or curses upon us to this day. And this is Deuteronomy 28:43. And it says the stranger, and that's referring to these natural Gentile nations that's outside the nation of Israel, that is within thee should get up above thee very high, and thou should come down very low. And when you read into the book of Psalm, the 83rd chapter, it talks about how all these other nations, more so the nobility of them, beginning with the tabernacle of Edom, who are the so-called Caucasians, have these secret crafty councils, and they are all in cahoots and secret partnerships, and to come down upon the biblical Israelites. and that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. And you best believe that the so-called Chinese who come from the tabernacle of Moab, and also the so-called Japanese who come from the tabernacle of Ammon, are a part of those secret crafty councils. And that's why this black hair care industry is so-called Asian dominated. So the stranger that's within thee should get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So it's a divine reason why we as biblical Israelites are at the bottom of the totem pole. And these other nations, they can come over here to America, receive all type of financial aid and grants, start up businesses and be 100% successful, and by our people being the biggest consumers to their businesses. Then they will take those funds that they made for a good living and transfer it back to their homeland, give it to their people. And they have something that we do not have, and that's called generational wealth. And I'll jump down to verse 48. Therefore should thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. So when you pass these different hair beauty stores, you will see multitudes of so-called black women running in there. And 9 out of 10 times, you will see a so-called Asian behind those counters. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he had destroyed thee. So again, all these other nations that we see in today's time are all in cahoots and secret partnerships, and they rejoice at the disobedience that we did towards the Heavenly Father Yahweh. Because when you read Ezekiel the 36th chapter, and it goes into how the other nations have said, aha. And once you go to the word aha in the blue letter, one of the definitions, it says to rejoice at an enemy's misfortune, which also links up with the book of Lamentations, the 2nd chapter, how all these other nations, they clap their hands at our downfall. All right, so back to the article, it says, many online vendors of human hair, such as Amazon and others, report that there is a growing demand for gray and salt and pepper hair pieces. In fact, on average, sales are up by more than 10,000%, and the buyers are no longer just older women. The average order is being placed by women who don't even naturally have gray hair yet. All in all, it's being estimated by industry experts that more than $50 million will be spent this year alone on gray hair wigs around the world. Being that there are more black-owned vendors than ever before who sell human hair and hair care products to black women. This is a good thing and right on time as well. But why the opposition? Gray hair is often associated with age and wisdom, but these days it's all about style and whatever is fashionably accepted. The new style on women of color looks amazing and sometimes even makes the person look younger. The opposition can be traced back to various celebrities who started or at least popularized the trend during the past 3 years or so. For example, the likes of Kim Kardashian, Tim Murray, Ariana Grande, Ciara, Rihanna, and many others have been recently seen embracing the silver hair look. Another possible factor why it's growing in popularity is because it helps women to stand out in the crowded space of influencers on social media. Anything that looks different but is still attractive is almost always a winner in the ever-changing world of female fashion. And as you can see through the spirit, all of this partakes into the fashion of the world. By setting these different trends, what's in style, these folly online challenges. And that's a part of that social media effect that was spearheaded by the nobility of Esau Edom, and also these other nations are in secret partnership with them as well. And they designed a very deceptive tool by the name of social engineering. And I touch on that from time to time, and it goes into the use of centralized planning in an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of a society. So as you can see right here, they set up these various celebrities who are nothing but sellouts, lesser luminaries, and who are puppets for the higher ups who actually run things within the society. So they set up these puppets to spearhead these different trends. And 9 out of 10 times, these different sellout puppets are going to be Israelites. Because at the end of the day, the Israelites, hey, we have that salt. And we are very trendy. So all these other nations are going to imitate us. But with this social engineering, it's heavy witchcraft upon the masses. Because while this centralized planning is an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of a society, it's really to divert you from reality and of what the true plans of the powers that be actually have planned for this world, which is forging in a great reset, a NWO. And nothing is new under the sun, because back in the ancient Roman Empire, you had a term called bread and circuses. It was like a diet of entertainment or political policies on which the masses are fed to keep them happy and docile. So they gave the people within the ancient Roman Empire these different gladiator events, all types of entertainment to keep you astray from what's actually occurring. And these bread and circuses back in the ancient Roman Empire was in the midst of the decadent ancient Roman Empire. So that place was collapsing. Fast forward to nowadays, of the extension of the fourth beast, which represents America, Babylon the Great, which is nothing but the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. This place is on a brink of collapse. And here you have this social media effect of all this stupid and foolish trends that's keeping the masses docile. So all these different trends, styles, internet challenges all partakes into the fashion of this world. Let's get that right quick. In 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter and the 31st verse. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. And that's how you know through the Spirit that we are in the last days within this society. Because according to the book of 2 Timothy 3:1, it says that in the last days perilous times should come. That goes into dreadful, dangerous times. And within these dreadful times, you was going to have men being lovers of their own selves. People being covetous, boasting, being heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And that all stems from this social media effect, which is one of the main components that gave these modern women this type of pride. Like you'll have a nobody that came up within high school or college, then they will create an online platform, start getting a lot of followers, subscribers, getting clout. Then they create this persona or this alter ego, and now they are trending. So how much more does that type of value add more to their pride and their ego? Like this is the type of society that we live in. Everybody does things for instant gratification. But we as the hopeful elect, the ones of us who are looking forward to a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, the fashion of this world will soon pass away. And one of those ways that this world is going to pass away, when you read Isaiah 14:23, the Most High stated how he would sweep it with the besom of destruction. And that's by the means of those nuclear missiles, those intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, nukes, which we are definitely in the beginning stages of World War III, where the mass majority of the people who are not observing the times, who are caught up into the fashion of this world and trying to be trendsetters, they are not measuring the times diligently in itself. So a lot of these people are going to get caught off guard. So the Lord Yahweh, through his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, are going to sweep the fashion of this world with the besom of destruction. And that also takes me to 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. So it's going to catch a lot of people off guard because they are not spiritually observing the times, which goes into the signs of our times, these last days, in the which the heavens should pass away with a great noise, and the elements should melt with fervent heat. And this is speaking about the times of World War III. The earth also and the works that are therein should be burnt up. And what's a part of those ungodly works? As you can see from the title, black women of all ages making gray hair wigs a growing trend and buying from black owned vendors. And that's why so many of them be so bugged out, because by you wearing these wigs, that's coming from a dead person's body. So you're putting another vibration upon yourself, which means more seducing spirits. But you cannot tell the majority of them within this day of time, because they are all caught up into being trendy, being fashionable, stylish, which all partakes into the fashion of this world. So all these different ungodly discourses, these different trends, styles, these folly internet challenges, this social media effect, which is nothing but the fashion of this world, will be burnt up very soon. So I brought this out. You all edified, you all stay strong, keep pushing forward. Shalom.